The accidental transgression. Marcus Chen's hand slipped during the crowded reception on planet Etheria, accidentally brushing Empress Valeria Starwin's lower back. The hall went silent. Her guards drew weapons. Among her people, touching royalty was forbidden, punishable by exile. But Valeria's violet and gold eyes studied him with curiosity instead of pure rage. The young Earth diplomat had violated sacred law, yet something about his genuine horror intrigued her. "You are Marcus Chen," she said in flawless English. "The linguist who learned 17 languages. Your Radiance, I apologize." "You have two choices," Valeria interrupted. "Exile and disgrace, or serve as my personal attendant during this summit. You will learn proper conduct through proximity." Marcus had no choice. "I accept your mercy." As Valeria walked away, her closest advisor Lady Cassiel whispered warnings about trusting humans. But Valeria had felt something in that accidental touch, the first genuine contact she'd experienced in 20 years of untouchable rule. Bound by protocol, Marcus began his service, following Valeria through diplomatic meetings and state functions. She asked his opinion on trade disputes, challenging him to think beyond protocol. Duke Theron Nightshade, a rival who wanted her throne, mocked her for seeking counsel from someone who couldn't navigate a crowded room. In the Crystal Gardens, away from watching eyes, Valeria's formal mask slipped. "Do you know why I chose this punishment?" she asked. "When you touched me, it was the first time in 20 years someone made contact with me as a person, not a symbol. Clumsy and accidental, but genuine." Marcus learned about her life, how she'd become Empress at 18 after plague killed her family, sacrificing all personal connection for duty. "I've forgotten what it feels like to be real," she admitted. "Then let me help you remember," Marcus said, closing the distance between them slightly. She extended her hand in the space between them, not quite touching. "Tomorrow night, after the formal ball, meet me in the observatory. No guards, no protocol. Just two people talking." Their fingers brushed, brief as a heartbeat, but enough to shift something fundamental between them. The hidden truth. At the grand ball, Valeria guided Marcus through the stellar waltz. Despite his inexperience, following her felt natural. They moved together perfectly, her luminescent skin shifting from violet to warm amber. Then the lights died. A plasma bolt seared through the darkness, aimed at Valeria. Marcus didn't think, he pulled her down and rolled, putting himself between her and the assassin. The second shot hit his shoulder. Pain exploded through him as he collapsed. Valeria screamed his name. When he woke in the medical chamber, she was there, her eyes red from crying. "You could have died," she said. "That weapon was designed to kill Etherians. If you'd taken the hit meant for me." "Then it would have killed you," Marcus interrupted. "Not a difficult choice. When that plasma hit you, I felt something break inside me. Something I'd walled off for 20 years. Her voice cracked. "You're the only person who sees me as Valeria instead of Empress." "Come here," Marcus said softly. She approached slowly, then took his offered hand. Her skin was warm, patterns of light shifting beneath the surface. "This is madness," she whispered. "The court will never accept this." "Then we'll deal with it together." Valeria leaned down and kissed him, gentle, tentative, then deepening into something profound. The crystal walls glowed in response to their connection. "I felt the planet respond," she whispered. "It recognized us." She straightened, transformed by decision. "Before you return to Earth, I'm going to challenge the High Council. I'll demand they abolish the genetic purity laws. And if being Empress means another 20 years alone." She squeezed his hand. "Then maybe I don't want to be Empress." "I love you," Marcus said simply. "I love you too," Valeria replied. "And that's worth fighting for." The price of love. Morning brought crisis. Duke Theron had called for Valeria's abdication, claiming her judgment was compromised. Lady Cassiel confronted Marcus in the gardens. "The genetic purity laws aren't just tradition," she explained. "Valeria's bloodline carries markers that let her channel the planet's crystal heart. If she bonds with you permanently, that power might not pass to her children. You're asking her to risk the Empire's future. Valeria arrived, fury in her eyes. The Council gave me an ultimatum: denounce Marcus publicly or face a vote of no confidence. So even if we won, we'd endanger your civilization, Marcus said heavily. But I've been researching, Valeria insisted. When we kissed, the planet recognized us. What if love itself could forge the necessary connection? What if genetics don't matter as much as they think? That's a huge gamble. I know, but I can't go back to being untouchable. She pulled him close. Tomorrow, I'm proposing to abolish the purity laws entirely. If they force me to choose between the throne and you, I'm choosing you. I'll abdicate. Ambassador Lyra Dane from the Federation appeared. There may be another option. I've consulted xenobiologists. Your abilities aren't as genetically dependent as ancient texts suggest. Emotional bonding creates quantum entanglement that can enhance psionic abilities. Love could literally rewrite compatibility. She straightened. And if the Council forces abdication, the Federation will withdraw all alliances with your successor. We only recognize governments that respect individual autonomy. Valeria looked stunned. You'd destabilize an empire over this. I defend the principle that leaders deserve happiness, Lyra replied. The Federation stands with you. That night, Marcus and Valeria held each other in the gardens, stealing peace before the storm. Are you afraid? Marcus asked. Terrified, Valeria admitted. But also free. For the first time in 20 years, I'm fighting for something I actually want. A new empire. The Grand Council chamber filled with representatives from across 7 star systems. Valeria stood alone at the center, every eye upon her. 20 years ago, I accepted the crown, she began. I have served well. But I have also been lonely, isolated by laws that prevent genuine connection. Her eyes found Marcus. Then I met someone who reminded me I'm not just an empress. I'm Valeria, a person who deserves love and the right to choose her own path. Duke Theron rose. She confesses weakness. She's compromised and unfit to rule. Then let us test that, Valeria said calmly. She raised her hands and began to glow, light pouring from her entire body, spreading through the crystal floor and walls. Holographic displays showed real-time data from terraforming stations, defense grids, environmental systems across all worlds. My connection to the crystal heart isn't weaker, she declared, her voice resonating with power. It's stronger than ever. The ancient texts were wrong. Our abilities come from emotional resonance, not genetic purity. When I allowed myself to love, I amplified the sacred energy. Ambassador Lyra stood. The Federation's scientists confirm this. What you're witnessing is evolution, not contamination. I propose abolishing all genetic purity laws, Valeria continued. If you refuse, I'll abdicate, but I'll transfer the connection to Lady Seraphine, my niece, who will likely continue these reforms anyway. The only question is whether you'll adapt or cling to fear-based laws. The chamber erupted in debate. Hours passed. Finally, the vote came. The genetic purity laws were abolished, 53 to 47%. Marcus crossed the chamber floor. Valeria took his hand openly, for all to witness. Ambassador Marcus Chen, would you remain on Etheria as my personal advisor? I need someone who sees me as Valeria, not just Empress. I would be honored, Marcus replied softly. Valeria. 3 months later, they exchanged vows in the Crystal Cathedral. Representatives from hundreds of worlds watched as 2 people who should never have been together reshaped an empire. Do you ever regret it? Marcus asked on their balcony, watching celebrations below. The fight, the division you caused. Valeria leaned against him. Every day I wake up next to you, I'm reminded some things are worth fighting for. I think we were meant to collide, Marcus said. That somewhere in the universe's probabilities, there was a path where we'd find each other. That's very romantic. Also completely unscientific. So is love. But we're proving it works anyway. Years later, scholars would call it the resonance revolution, when an accidental touch changed civilization. But Valeria and Marcus knew the simpler truth. Sometimes the person you're not supposed to touch becomes the one you can't imagine living without. Together, they built a new empire. Not perfect, but alive with possibilities. The crystal heart pulsed with approval, its ancient energy finally understanding what laws never did. Connection is the strongest force in the universe, and love, real, impossible love, can reshape empires. Valeria woke each morning not as an untouchable symbol, but as a woman who had chosen love over duty and discovered she could have both. The end.